Iraq economic news and points to ponder Saturday afternoon, May 11, 2024. Listen to the full version on the official dinarport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. The exchange rate of the US dollar is rising again in Baghdad markets. Today, Saturday, the exchange rates of the US dollar witnessed an increase in Baghdad markets, and dollar prices rose with the opening of the Al Khifa and Al Harithiyya stock exchanges, recording 146,200 dinars per $100, while last Thursday, dollar prices recorded 145,700 Iraqi dinars per $100. Regarding the selling prices in the exchange shops in the local markets in Baghdad, the selling price reached 147,250 dinars, while the purchasing price reached 145,250 dinars for every $100. Deputy, Iraq represents an important factor in the stability of the global oil market. MP Nur-Nafi Al-Jalihawi confirmed, on Saturday, that Iraq represents an important factor in the stability of international markets in the oil and energy file. Al-Jalihawi said, in an interview followed by Mawazin News, that developing Iraq's oil and gas fields is an important strategy in order to strengthen the country's economy, diversify its revenues, and seek to raise the efficiency of its production capacity in a way that contributes to increasing exports. She added, the Prime Minister's launch of the 5th supplementary licensing round and the 6th round, which will include 29 projects in fields and exploratory patches, whether oil or gas, spread across 12 governorates, is a step in the right direction that will lead to achieving three positives at the same time: increasing its ability to pump oil and produce gas and reducing the bill importing the latter, in addition to revitalizing neighboring regions and providing more job opportunities, not to mention supporting the governorates and financing service projects. She stated that Iraq represents an important factor in stabilizing international markets in the energy file, and increasing its production capacity is a step in the right direction, especially gas fields, in order to reach the stage of sufficiency. Minister of Oil, soon we will announce the increase in Iraq's oil reserves to 160 billion barrels. The Minister of Oil, Hayan Abdel Ghani, confirmed today, Saturday, that the Iraqi oil reserves will soon be announced to rise to more than 160 billion barrels. Abdel Ghani said, in his speech during the launching ceremony of the 5th supplementary licensing round and the 6th round, followed by Mawazin News, that the supplement to the 5th licensing round and the 6th licensing round are part of the government program. He added today, the ministry is offering 29 promising projects within these licenses to advance industry and gas wealth. He continued, licensing rounds have the effect of adding 2 million barrels of oil to national production, stressing that these projects will provide job opportunities, stimulate the economy in those areas, and meet the growing needs for gas. He stressed the imminent announcement that Iraq's oil reserves will rise to 160 billion barrels. Brent crude rose above $84 due to strong demand. Brent crude oil hovered above $84 a barrel after the release of data this week, indicating increasing demand in the United States and China, the largest consumers of crude in the world, while the raging conflict in the Middle East contributed to supporting prices. By yesterday evening, according to Reuters, Brent crude futures rose 33 cents to $84.21 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude rose 42 cents to $79.68. Crude oil inventories in the United States declined due to increased refinery work. This came at a time when data showed that China's oil imports in April were higher than last year's imports. Chinese exports and imports returned to growth in April after contracting the previous month, indicating improved demand. Attention will be focused on the U.S. inflation data released next week, as it will affect the course of the Federal Reserve, the U.S. central bank, regarding interest rates. At the same time, it is increasingly likely that the European Central Bank will start cutting interest rates in June. Economist, tax revenues from the private sector should be 4 trillion dinars annually. Economist Manar Al-Abadi confirmed that tax revenues from the private sector should be 4 trillion dinars annually. Al-Abadi told Al-Iqtisad News, there are more than 8 million economically active people working in the private sector, and based on the average monthly income being around 600,000 dinars, the value of the revenues collected for people in the private sector amounts to about 4 trillion Iraqi dinars, taking an average of the income tax rate. The monthly rate is 7%. He pointed out that the value of the monthly tax that is supposed to be paid by economically active people in the private sector is approximately 280 billion Iraqi dinars, while the annual tax is approximately 3.5 trillion Iraqi dinars. This does not include the income tax imposed on employees in the public sector and salaries amounting to 40 trillion dinars annually. With a tax rate of 7%, so it will be the amount of income tax from public sector employees is 3 trillion dinars. He stressed that unfortunately there is no clear data on the amount of tax that is supposed to be achieved compared to what is achieved. But the tax alone is capable of generating revenues of a minimum value of 10 trillion dinars annually, and it may reach 15 trillion dinars. Listen to the full version on the official dinarport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: Dinar Caps.